Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing today is we'll be breaking down our anytime touchdown picks for week 5 of the NFL football season. We'll also be doing the same thing for our DFS picks, our daily fantasy sports picks, trying to look at the quarterback receiver combo, seeing who we think is going to get us the most points for our dollar to value basis. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments on these picks or anything else, the games, whatever, drop it below and I will make sure to respond every week. We go over every single NFL game and we also do the same thing for every single college football game too. We do the spreads, money lines, over-unders, and predictions on the outcomes. Hit the like button, subscribe so you can follow along with us. So we'll be looking at our top 5 anytime touchdown picks, and starting out here, the very first player pick we have is, of course, Derrick Henry. He has been a one-man wrecking machine the whole season since his very first game. We know that he was one of the best running backs in the nation for the last few seasons. Baltimore was the number 1 running team in the NFL last season. What they do, they went and they added Derrick Henry. Through the first 4 games, he has 480 yards on 80 rush attempts. He has 5 rushing touchdowns. He has 1 receiving touchdown. Right now, Baltimore, they're averaging 26.5 per game. But the reason I'm picking him is they're playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati, even though they're 1-3, they can score. This could be a high-scoring game. Higher scoring means more points, means more opportunities for Derrick Henry to get touches, especially on the goal line. He's been a goal line machine this season for the Ravens. The Ravens right now, they are the number 1 rushing team. They're running for 220.3. They're going to be using Henry a lot. He's going to get a lot of touches. And Cincinnati, they're giving up almost 150 on the ground. He's going to have opportunities to get some point. That's why Derrick Henry is my first pick. The next player we're looking at is going to be Brock Bowers for the Raiders. You're probably thinking, why Brock Bowers? He only has 216 yards through the first 4 games, 20 receptions, 0 touchdowns. Well, it's plain and simple. Las Vegas, Gardner Minshew, they're averaging 19.5 per game, 212.5 passing yards. But Devontae Adams right now could get traded, might not play, has a lot of issues with Pierce. We don't know what's going on with that. If he's not playing here, that means a lot more looks for Brock Bowers. Gardner Minshew is an experienced veteran quarterback. He's been around for a little while now. He's going to be looking for a reliable option to push the ball to. Brock Bowers is going to get a lot of targets. More targets means more opportunities to be able to score here. They are playing a tough defense, though. They are playing Denver Broncos, only giving up 13.8, 146 yards through the air. But this is going to be a close game no matter what. And Minshew's going to need someone to rely on. Brock Bowers could be that guy. I have him getting a lot of receptions this game. And in the end zone, the red zone, he's probably going to be the primary target for the Raiders. The next guy that we're going to look at, the number 3 guy, is going to be none other than Bijan Robinson, the running back for Atlanta. He has 224 yards on 55 attempts. He only has 1 touchdown. He has 135 receiving yards. The reason I picked him is he's due to get a touchdown. They're playing a very tough game, Thursday night prime game. This is going to be a close game. Close games mean it's going to be a running focus game. Atlanta has been getting better on the offensive side since their week 1 loss. Yes, they committed this game 2-2, but they're a lot better than that 2-2 record. Kirk Cousins is getting a lot more comfortable, but Tampa Bay, they're going to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. He's going to need someone to dump the ball off to. That's going to be Bijan Robinson. Their offense is loaded. Bijan Robinson, Algiers, Pitts, London. There's so many weapons on this team, but the reliable running back, one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL, is going to be Bijan Robinson. If this game gets close, Tampa Bay has been giving up a lot of rushing yards the last few games. They are giving up about 140 on the ground per game. Bijan Robinson can run it. He can catch it. In the close game, he's going to get the goal line carries. He has a high opportunity to get a touchdown this week. The next person I'm looking at, the number 4 player, is Kyren Williams, the running back for the LA Rams. He has 258 yards on 73 attempts. He has 5 touchdowns. He's been a touchdown machine, 258 yards, 68 yards receiving with 1 receiving touchdown. The reason he stands out to me is because he has Stafford at the quarterback position if he's fully healthy this game. Stafford is a veteran, experienced quarterback. He can step up in big-time moments, get them a win when they need a win. Looking at this game, it's going to be Packers versus the Rams. Right now, the Packers, they're giving up 231 yards through the air, 110 on the ground. Williams might not run for 150 this game, but I see a balanced reception to rushing total here. Stafford is relying on him a lot, third down, running the ball, and also catching the ball out the backfield. Why? Because Nakua is gone. Cooper Kupp's gone. He has Atwell. He has Williams. He basically has two targets. Stafford can have a great game here. Packers are going to score points. Scoring points means Stafford's going to have to throw the ball, but he's going to do a lot of dump offs to Williams, so I think there's a high probability that he's going to rack up a lot of points, a lot of yards, rushing and reception-wise. And in the red zone, you always got to watch the running back when you have a passing quarterback. And my final player to keep our eye on is going to be Nico Collins, a wide receiver for the Houston Texans. He's the number one wide receiver yardage-wise in the NFL, just shy of 500 yards. He has 489 receiving yards, 30 receptions, 2 touchdowns. This guy's been lighting it up vertically through the air. The reason I picked him is plain and simple. They play the Bills. The Bills have a solid defense. The Bills have a solid offense. They're averaging 30.5. Houston, 19.8. The Bills are going to get theirs. They're going to score. What does a shootout game mean? He has Stroud, one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best young quarterbacks. This is going to be a higher scoring game. Houston is going to have to match Buffalo blow for blow. If they get behind early, that's going to force Stroud to basically have to go vertical, stop running the ball, push the ball down the field. He has the number one wide receiver. This is his main target. He's the leading NFL receiver. He only has 2 touchdowns. He's due for a touchdown here, but he's also due for a lot of receptions and a lot of yards. Bills have a tough secondary, but Houston's going to be forced to have to throw the ball because the Bills are going to be putting up points. That's why I picked Nico Collins as my next guy. Now we'll be moving on to our player and quarterback combo here. So what player matched up with the quarterback is going to get the most points here and the most potential touchdowns? The quarterback wide receiver combo picks. The very first one that I'm going to be looking at is none other than found on our Green Bay Packers team. We have Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs. Jordan Love, he was hurt. He came back with a vengeance last week. He had an up and down game, but he threw for like 350 yards first game back. We know he's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. He can run. He can throw. Just in 2 or 3 games, he has 649 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. A lot of picks, but he was obviously banged up for a while. He's going to scramble. He's going to push the ball vertically down the field. And what about Josh Jacobs, the running back? That's what I'm going to go with here. 329 yards on 71 attempts, 0 touchdowns. You know this guy's due to get his first touchdown. Right now, Green Bay can move the ball. They're averaging 26 a game, 235 through the air, 175 on the ground. One of the better running teams in the NFL. They can throw it. They can run it. Solid defense. But the Rams have an awful defense. They're giving up 28.8 points a game. That's why they stand out to me. There's going to be massive opportunities for the Packers to score and score early. They're giving up 220 through the air, 166 on the ground. Jordan Love is going to get his yards. He's going to get touchdowns. Josh Jacobs is also going to get a lot of looks. The next pairing we're looking at is the Baltimore Ravens. This one has to be obvious. 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson. The last few weeks, this guy's been lighting it up vertically, and he's been running a lot. He has 858 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 picks, but he's also running the ball a lot. Derrick Henry, I already mentioned all the pluses with him. He's rushing for 480 yards on 80 attempts, 5 touchdowns. They're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati, even though they're 1-3, they're a lot better than that record shows, and they can score some points. Baltimore, they're averaging 26.5. They're throwing for 209. They're running for 220. The number one rushing team in the NFL. They're going to throw it. They're going to run it. Both of these guys are going to be the ones running it. But Cincinnati might be able to muster up enough points to keep the Ravens starting offense on the field for the whole 4 quarters. That means more pass attempts for Jackson. That means more carries for Derrick Henry. And Cincinnati's already giving up 26 points a game. 181 through the air, 146 on the ground. These guys are going to have a lot of opportunities to rack up points and score. But due to that leads us into our very next combo pick, the Bengals. We have Joe Burrow. We have Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow right now, 978 yards, 7 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Baltimore is going to score. They have a top 5 offense in the entire NFL right now. Lamar Jackson, Likely, Andrews, Flowers, Henry, multiple great offensive players. The Bengals have to be prepared to come into this game throwing the ball down the field. They have to go vertical. They have to keep up with a Baltimore Ravens offense that's just clicking right now. And Burrow's number one weapon. Yes, he has Higgins, but him and Jamar Chase have been clicking. He has 300 yards on 19 receptions, 3 touchdowns. Cincinnati right now, they're averaging 25.5, 236 through the air. They're going to give up points. The more points the Bengals give up because their defense is not good, as Baltimore continues to score, the Bengals are going to be forced to have to keep up with them. Keeping up with the Joneses, they're going to have to match them touchdown for touchdown, which means it's probably going to be a pass-heavy game for the Bengals offense. Then the next combo we're looking at, we have, obviously, we already mentioned this one, C.J. Stroud, 709 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and Nico Collins, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He has 338 yards, 18 receptions, 1 touchdown. The reason I pick these guys is they're one of the best 1-2 quarterback wide receiver combos in the NFL right now. We have them coming in here. They're averaging a lot of points. They're pushing the ball vertically down the field, but they will be playing one of the best offenses in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills, they're going to get theirs. They're going to score. They're averaging 30.5 per game. They're giving up 20.8. Houston is going to have to keep up with them blow for blow. I picked a lot of matchups where there's going to be high-scoring teams. More scores mean more touchdowns, mean more attempts for the quarterback, for the wide receiver. Obviously, C.J. Stroud, he has Diggs there, but his primary target is going to be Collins. As Buffalo scores, he's going to have to find Collins, his given number one threat, the guy that he knows that he can push the ball to on third down. Houston's going to give up points. Buffalo's going to get theirs. If Houston has any chance to win this game, it's going to be found on the offensive side. They have to outscore Buffalo. And this final one for the quarterback wide receiver combo here, I kind of went with a little bit of a stretch here. I went the Washington Commanders route. Jaden Daniels and Terry here, the wide receiver for the Washington Commanders. Right now, Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year so far by a landslide. 897 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, but he's been running extremely well, racking up hundreds of yards on the ground rushing. You don't want him to run too much. You don't want him to get hurt, but he can scramble, especially on those third and short situations. And on the goal line, you have to be wary of a quarterback that's extremely fast, that can run the ball, but can also scramble and throw the ball on the run. His primary target is going to be Terry here. He has 191 yards, 19 receptions, 2 touchdowns, but it's going to be those red zone opportunities. Cleveland's going to be a tough team. They're coming to town with a top 10 defense. Yes, their offense is a complete joke, but they're going to play Washington really close. Washington hasn't been in a punch-for-punch, low-scoring game yet this season. So this could play into Jaden Daniels' favor. They have one of the best offenses, 33.3 points a game, 213 passing, 169.3 on the ground. They're giving up 25.5. Cleveland's going to make it close. But in this situation, Daniels is going to have to rely on his primary target in a closer, low-scoring game. But I could still see Daniels throwing for 2 touchdowns here, potentially even running for 1. And Terry's going to get his receptions, and he's going to be the target that gets those passing touchdowns. So that's our breakdown. That's our player picks. That's our top 5 players who are going to get a touchdown this weekend and our quarterback receiver combos. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. If you have any comments, drop them below and I'll respond.